अस्सलामुअलैकुम। उम्मीद है सब खैरियत से होंगे। इस वक्त हम मौजूद है पेशावर यूनिवर्सिटी जियोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट के सामने और हम जा रहे हैं फील्ड वर्क पे। तो हमारा फील्ड इंशाल्लाह आज गिलगित होगा और अभी थोड़ी देर में हम रवाना होंगे। तो आइए हमारे साथ।
First stop is Mansera granite. Mansera granite has a lot of magmatic episodes, right? So it's not a one unit like you have a one man. They are just Cambrian to Ordovician, which is 16 plus minus 16 million years. And this granite is produced due to the crustal melting of the Proterozoic rocks, right? And here the Proterozoic rocks are the Nawal quartzite and Hazara slates. So these are the Proterozoic rocks in this area. So here the Mansera granite has some dikes which are called Panjal dikes, right? It's very important. The age of this one is Permian to Triassic, right? And how did they form? This is very important. So I will make a sketch of the Gondwana. That was they formed. They included these rocks when India was when there was a rafting happening in the Gondwana, right? So that was back in Gondwana time, right? So what happened that there was a hot spot, right? And I can make a nice bloom over here, right? This much room like a bloom, and here we have some fractures and unlock these fractures. So these basic dikes included these granites, right? And what happens at the time, right? There was some normal faulting happening and a rift developed, right? So there was a rift, and this rift, right, when developed here, then we have the direct connection with the mantle. Over here we have some contamination of the crust. Right? And here we have a direct connection with the spreading center, right? So this one is the Paleothetic over here. This one is the Plantain block gets separated from the Indian state back in Permian. So these dikes they formed during the Permian to Triassic age, right? And they include the Mansera granitic rocks. And you know the Mansera granitic rocks they form from the crustal melting. So the crustal melting is normally happens due to the crustal technique. Okay, so these are the terraluminous granite, and they form due to the crustal melting of the Nawal quartzite and Hazara slates. Maybe it's a bit explained.
It's very nicely summarized the tectonic model of the Mansera granite. I will just add to his description. Basically, Mansera granite, this outcrop is the Mansera granite, and this belongs to the Mansera granitic complex. So there are 4 units within the Mansera granitic complex, and this Mansera granite is one of the larger units of the Mansera granitic complex. If we look at the outcrop description, you can see here that there are some large mega phenocrysts. Can you see that?
Yes.
So on this base, we can call that these Mansehra granites are porphyritic. In terms of these phenocrysts, we see some clusters of the phenocrysts. Can you see clusters? You see here, several phenocrysts have been assembled together at places. Here is again a cluster. So such cluster kind of phenocryst, when formed in a rock, we call this texture as lemuro-porphyritic texture. Petrographically, these granites, they follow the same trend, generalized trend. They are predominantly consisting of quartz, microcline, with a minor amount of muscovite, biotite, and plagioclase. And apart from it, there are accessory concentrations of the tourmaline, garnet, apatite, etc. All these are enriched in alumina. They are supposed to have sedimentary source, means that they have formed by the partial melting of the metasedimentary or sedimentary lithology. We see some xenoliths here. These xenoliths probably they are from Tanawal quartzites. So the Mansehra granite have been intruded into Tanawal formation. Now if we compare this granite with the Ambela granitic complex, over there we have abundance of hornblende. We have abundance of hornblende, which is relatively alumina poor, while this is enriched in muscovite, biotite, garnet, which reflects the alumina rich. So that's the petrographical difference between rock formed from sedimentary source or formed from igneous source. So Mansehra at the Ambela granitic complex have formed by the partial melting of a granitic source. Geochemically, these rocks have been studied by several workers, and they are plotting in the field of per-aluminous nature. They have more alumina, Al2O3, than the combined K2O plus Na2O plus CaO. So, geochemically, if a rock is metaluminous, we assume that it has a source derived from sedimentary type of rock, and that is further endorsing the petrographic description. Tectonically, when you take some trace elements and you plot them on the established tectonic diagrams, so these rocks are plotting in the field of continent-continent collision or sand collisional environment. You can see some white coloration on the right of this outcrop. These are basically leucogranite belonging to the Mansehra granitic complex, and these are enriched in feldspar, and probably they are used in ceramic industry. So that's actually the summary of the Mansehra granite complex.
अगर आप देखें इसमें these are the dolorite dike, जिस तरह मैंने आपको पंजाल ट्रैप या जो पंजाल डाइक कम्प्लेक्स के बारे में मैंने क्या बताया कि when there was a rift on the southern side of the Indian plate, on the northern side of the Indian plate. तो आप इसको देख सकते हो. अगर यहाँ पे आप देखें तो you can see lot of deformation in it, right? Why there is deformation in it? Because यहाँ पे जो minerals है वो mostly amphibole, pyroxene और वो है क्लोराइड, तो वो इजीली डिफॉर्म होते हैं. ठीक है, अगर आप यहाँ पे देखें तो दे आर मोस्टली कंसिस्ट ऑफ क्वार्ट्ज एंड फेल्डस्पार. तो इसका जो डिफॉर्मेशन नेचर है इट्स अ बिट ब्रिटल. ठीक है, यहाँ पे ब्रिटल डिफॉर्मेशन होता है और यहाँ पे आपके पास डक्टाइल डिफॉर्मेशन होता है. सो यू कैन सी अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल ऑफ द डक्टाइल डिफॉर्मेशन वर्सेस द ब्रिटल डिफॉर्मेशन. Okay, another thing you can see some here, right, some coloration here. Okay, so this coloration is because of the contact metamorphism. So you can see a very 1 centimeter contact metamorphism in this particular phase.
It's called areole as well.
Yes, areole.
Metamorphic areole.
Yeah, these are the areoles. So they, अगर आप देखें तो areoles यहाँ पे ज़्यादातर enrich है iron में, because ये जो dikes हैं, they are hot spot के साथ associated थे, और इसका जो source था, main source, वो मेंटल था, राइट। आप इसका फोटोग्राफ बनाएं और उसको देखें कि किस तरह ये पंजाल डाइक्स यहाँ पे हैंगिंग वॉल अब उसमें है, हैंगिंग वॉल ऑफ दी पंजाल जो ट्रस्ट है उसके हैंगिंग वॉल में आपको ये डाइक्स मिलेंगे, ठीक है। हाँ, ओके।
This variety have been metamorphosed to green schist fish. You see the foliation. This was actually a dolerite body which has been metamorphosed to green schist fish. The foliation has destroyed its usability as dimension stone, so we are unable to use it as a dimension stone. There are some other varieties which are distributed throughout the Mansehra district. Those are relatively massive. Those dikes are relatively massive. They are wide in their size, and they have survived the metamorphism, which might be because of their younger age, right? Those dolerites, which I already mentioned, are unmetamorphosed. They are called black granites in the market, and they have very high demand in the international market as well. It is being exported to China and to these Arabian countries as well. इसके मुख्तलिफ साइज के टाइल्स बनाए जाते हैं, different sizes, ठीक है ना, and which are also used in Pakistan as well. So that's actually the economic significance of these tiles. ठीक है जी।
So we have, you know about the Proterozoic age, right? It's I think started from 2,500 up to 1,000 million years, right? That is the Proterozoic. जिसमें Archean है, Proterozoic है, इस पूरे को कहते हैं Precambrian, right? इसको Proterozoic क्यों कहते हैं? Because due to the protozoa, prokaryotic जो organism थे, they were abundant at that time. साइनोबैक्टीरिया जो आप उसका नाम सुना होगा, तो वो ज़्यादा थे। बाकी जो मेरीन लाइफ था वो इतना ज़्यादा वेल फ्लरिश्ड नहीं था सिवाय ये बैक्टीरिया की, ठीक है, या प्रोटोजोन्स की। तो यहाँ पे हमारे पास जो स्ट्रेटिग्राफी है वो जो एंडियन के बेसमेंट रॉक्स है वो है शाम ग्रुप मेटासेडिमेंट्स, और उसके ऊपर हमारे पास जो है हजारा फॉर्मेशन है, एंड देन वी हैव तनावल क्वार्ट्जाइट, एंड देन वी हैव एब्टाबाद ग्रुप। Okay, so here we have an intrusion. अगर यहाँ पे आप देखें, we have an intrusion of the Mansehra granite. Okay, some part of these formation has been taken by the Mansehra granite, right? Because Mansehra granite has been intruded within the Bisham group at the sediments, Hazara formation and Tanawal quartzite. इसलिए इसमें आपको इसके ज़ेनोलिथ्स मिलते हैं, ठीक है। ये स्ट्रेटिग्राफी है। तो हम अब हम देख रहे हैं क्वार्ट्जाइट को, तनावल क्वार्ट्जाइट को। मे बी आगे, सॉरी, तनावल क्वार्ट्जाइट दिस वन, तो वी सी तनावल क्वार्ट्जाइट, और नवीद साहब आपको एक्सप्लेन करेगा कि व्हाट इज एक्चुअली तनावल क्वार्ट्जाइट, क्या कंपोजिशन है, ठीक है।
Tanawal formation is predominantly consisting of quartzites and pelitic rocks, which are phyllites and schists, right? Phyllites and schists are incompetent rocks. They are not strong rocks, so they are not used as dimension stones. When it comes to the quartzites, so these quartzites, you see the coloration, they are yellowish in color. Some varieties are brownish in coloration, and there are pure white color quartzites as well. Okay, and these quartzites have extended to the Utla region as well, to Utla Sawabi regions, and further towards the west they have extended, so that cover a large areas. Their compressive strength, that is round about 115 megapascal to 150 megapascal. इस मटेरियल को, इसके मटेरियल को हम ना तो असफॉल्ट पर्पस के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, टारकोल के साथ, एंड इट कैन आल्सो बी नॉट यूज्ड in concrete work with cement, with ordinary cement. Why? The reason for its unsuitability in cement based concrete work, यानी आप छतों के टॉप पे इसको इस्तेमाल करते हैं, पुल का जो पिलर्स है उनमें इसको इस्तेमाल करना चाहते हैं तो उसमें इसको यूज नहीं कर सकते, because when you petrographically examine these rocks, they are consisting of deformed quartz. They are consisting of strained quartz. The deformed and strained nature of quartz can be identified through petrography. Right? When you rotate the stage of the microscope, there will be wavy extension. There will be wavy extension, and that wavy extension of the quartz shows that it has been deformed, disturbed because of tectonic forces. And such kind of quartz react with sodium oxide and potassium oxide and the cement and form a gel known as silica gel. That silica gel absorbs water. So if a concrete absorbs water, what will happen? It will swell. And because of the swelling, what will happen in the concrete structure? Forces will develop. Okay? And is there, accordingly that will be broken down into fragments. And the concrete will be destroyed. Petrographically, इसके अंदर तकरीबन round about it is consisting of 80% of quartz. Okay? Where majority of the quartz is strained. The 20% is consisting of hematite, some tourmaline, वेरी कलर टोरमेलिन्स, ठीक है, वो इनके अंदर है, एंड देयर इज राउंड अबाउट 8% मैट्रिक्स. सो दैट्स एक्चुअली द स्टोरी.
Very active tectonic zone, right? And that's called the Hazara Kashmir syntaxis. And geology, the word syntaxis means where we have a sharp bend and the crust. Okay, so along this sharp bend, every bedded rocks or every lithology just wrap around a particular fold, right? And that particular folding or particular tectonic grain is called syntaxial structures. So over here, we can develop tectonic history. We were having in this region, like I would just draw some flat lines, and these flat lines, I will name these lines. For example, if we name this one as Panjal thrust, and then it's followed by another fault, right, which is called Natyagali thrust, and then the MBT, main boundary thrust. So we can mark this one as MBT, main boundary thrust. So what happens over here, because of the counterclockwise rotation of the Indian plate, right? This is the counterclockwise rotation of the Indian plate. Because Indian plate is moving, there is a head-on collision with the amalgamated southern margin of the Eurasian plate. So along this margin, the Indian plate is rotating counterclockwise. So because of this counterclockwise rotation, here we see a twist in the crust, and this twist is twisting all the rocks like this. Okay, and we can see in the apex region is developed. Over here, the things are doing this thing. So this one is the Hazara Kashmir syntaxis. You You got my point? Okay, so अगर यहाँ पे देखें, we can mark this one is the higher Himalayas, this is the lesser Himalayas, and this one is the sub-Himalayas, and this one is the Ganges जो प्लेटफॉर्म है. Okay?
Indo-Gangetic.
Yes. यहाँ के इसके कोर में जो रॉक्स है, इसके कोर में जितने भी रॉक्स है, these are मायोसीन रॉक्स. ओके, और यहाँ पे मैक्स इओसीन रॉक्स भी रिपोर्टेड है. तो यहाँ पे अगर आप देखें, यहाँ पे अगर इस जगह पे देखें, सो वी एक्सपेक्ट अ लॉट ऑफ शेयरिंग इन दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेस, राइट, एंड वी कैन हैव सम शेयरिंग इन दिस जोन. सो हियर बिकॉज ऑफ दिस डिफरेंशियल स्ट्रेसेस, okay, because of these differential stresses, we have the Jhelum strike slip fault. So the Jhelum strike slip fault formed due to the counterclockwise of the Indian plate. क्योंकि यहाँ पे डिफरेंशियल स्ट्रेसेस है, यहाँ पे जो स्ट्रेस है वो मैक्सिमम है, ठीक है. तो इस मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेस की वजह से वी हैव द Jhelum strike slip fault. तो यहाँ पे you will see some strike slip component in these rocks because we have some differential stresses in this particular place. So here इस जगह पे रोरपेंडी जो एब्टाबाद ग्रुप मेटल सेडिमेंट्स है या डोलोमाइट्स है, वो थ्रस्ट हुए हैं यहाँ पे यंगर रॉक्स के ऊपर, ठीक है. और इस जगह में यहाँ पे प्रीकैम्ब्रियन रॉक्स थ्रस्ट हुए हैं एब्टाबाद ग्रुप पे. तो इसलिए ये जगह जो है टेक्टोनिकली बहुत ही एक्टिव है. और 2005 में जो पाकिस्तान का जो डिवास्टेटिंग अर्थक्वेक आया था, वो भी यहाँ पे आप यू कैन सी हियर जो इरोजन हो रहा है, ये जहाँ पे जो आपके पास ये जो वो है शेयरिंग है, वो शेयरिंग बहुत क्लियरली एक्सपोज है ऑन द आउटक्रॉप, ठीक है.
Where we are standing, that's actually the Balakot area, and here a major thrust fault, a major thrust zone known as Balakot Bagh thrust fault, which runs through Muzaffarabad to the Bagh area. So very extends from Balakot, Muzaffarabad, and further towards the Bagh area, right? This thrust fault has brought the Abbottabad group rocks onto the younger Miocene Murray formations. What is the evidence? The evidence lies in front of you, where you see the Abbottabad group rocks, which are predominantly dolomites and dolomitic limestones, and then on the other side you see green clays, red maroon clays, and if we have a thick sequence we can encounter siltstones and sandstone. The reddish coloration reflects that it has been deposited in oxidizing conditions. It has formed in oxidizing environment. And from economic point of view, the Murray Formation sandstone particularly, that have the capacity to host the uranium mineralization. So that's actually the story about the stop at this place. From economic point of view, these limestones and dolomitic limestones are used as coarse aggregate. It has got some problem in cement industry, cement based concrete. Why? If it contains dolomite, the dolomite has got magnesium. Magnesium is very loving for absorbing water. So the magnesium loves to absorb water. It will swell. It will expand internally. Expansion start हो जाएगी. Internal उनके अंदर pressure develop होना शुरू हो जाएगा. And as a result of that, the concrete structure will start fracturing. And sometimes this reaction is very, very intense when the dolomite is used in piling up of the bridges, or whenever it is used in dam access. वहाँ पे चूंकि इनका पानी के साथ रेगुलर कांटेक्ट होता है, तो डोलोमाइट बहुत कम टाइम में bridge will be felled, as well as the dam access will also be lost. इसके मुकाबले में dolomite has got some problem. The dolomite is relatively hard, you know. उसकी हार्डनेस 4 है, कैल्साइट की हार्डनेस 6 है, तो इसकी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी relatively कम होती है. So sometime when there is very heavy load, heavy vehicle moving on asphalt-based concrete, asphalt-based dolomitic limestone road, so there is a possibility of the crushing of the carbonate rock. So therefore, the engineering geologists, the engineers, they prefer calcitic limestone more suitable as compared to the dolomitic carbonate rock. So that's the story.
तो फाइनली हम पहुंच गए बटकुंडी और डे 1 फील्ड हमारा ख़त्म हो चुका है। बहुत थके हुए आए हैं, सारे लोग गिर गए बिस्तरों में और थोड़ा आराम करेंगे, नमाज़ पढ़ेंगे। तकरीबन 11 साढ़े 11 बज रहे हैं और इसके बाद हम खाना खाने जाएंगे। तो इंशाल्लाह डे 2 फील्ड कल होगा और वो हम जाएंगे hunza। तो इंशाल्लाह कल मिलते हैं, तो इंशाल्लाह अगली वीडियो में मिलते हैं। आगे ना